14 of exercise 1. So those who have doubts in this, you can please pay attention here. Otherwise, you can just continue with the exercise. Okay. Just coming up, just a second. All right, so question 13 of exercise 1. ये कह रहा है that a particle at t equal to 0, okay, it is at the position, let's say coordinates, okay, of the point is A, which is 1, 0, 0, okay, and it is moving towards the point B, which is 4, 4, 12. Okay, so it is moving from A towards B with a velocity at a constant speed of 65 meters per second. So we have to find the coordinates. We have to find the coordinates of the particle at t equal to 2 seconds. Okay. So t equal to 0 पे particle कहाँ पे है? यहाँ पे. और t equal to 2 पे we have to find out कि उसके coordinates x, y, z क्या है. Okay. So this is more of a kinematics type of question where we know that the constant speed is 65 meters per second. Also we know that it is moving from A towards B. Okay. So यहाँ पे what is the concept we will apply? We will apply the concept of displacement. Okay. So we will apply the concept that if this is the point E, which is 1, 0, 0, and this is the point B, which is 4, 4, 12. So उसके motion का line क्या है? The direction of its motion is this vector AB. Let's say this displacement AB is the direction of its motion. So if this vector AB is like this, then what is the direction of the velocity vector? Velocity vector का भी direction उस line के along ही होना चाहिए. So the velocity vector should be like this, such that its magnitude is 65 meters per second. Now we want to find, we know that at t equal to 0, the particle is here. And let's say after t equal to 2 seconds, it is somewhere over here. कोई ऐसा point P है जहाँ पे coordinates है x, y, z. So ये हम लोग को निकालना है कि what is this, okay? So we have to find the displacement from 0 to 2 seconds. This is what we have to find out. Whereas what is the information given to us, that magnitude of velocity is like this, okay? And the direction of velocity is along the line AB. So these two information are given to us, and this is what we have to calculate. Okay? So we will use the concept of unit vector. Okay? So since velocity is along AB, okay, that means velocity is equal to 65 meters per second into a certain unit vector. और वो unit vector क्या है? That unit vector is the unit vector along the vector AB. So that unit vector is nothing but AB vector divided by its magnitude. Okay, so A is this point 1, 0, 0. B is this point 4, 4, 12. Okay. So ये vector AB कौन सा है? The vector AB is nothing but from 1 to 4. So that is 3 units along the x-axis. Then 0 to 4, that is 4 units along the y-axis. plus 0 to 12, that is 12 units along the z axis. So vector AB is this much. Magnitude of vector AB is 3 I cap plus 4 j cap plus 12 k cap. Okay. So the magnitude is correct, Aditya, it is 13. So n cap कितना हो जाएगा 3 I cap plus 4 j cap plus 12 k cap divided by square root of 3 square plus 4 square plus 12 square, जो कि आपको पता है 13 होता है. So it is 3 I cap plus 4 j cap plus 12 j cap divided by 13. So this is my unit vector along the line AB, or that is the same thing as the unit vector along the velocity. Okay, so this is the unit vector along AB, or also the vector VB. So now what is my velocity vector becoming? It is becoming speed multiplied by that unit vector. So it is becoming very good. It's becoming 65 meters per second into this unit vector. Pi plus 4j plus 12 divided by 13. Okay. So cancel this. So it is becoming 15 I cap plus 20 j cap plus 60 k cap in meters per second. Each of the components will be in meters per second because this is meters per second. So ये मेरा velocity vector होगा. So this is now my velocity vector. So once I know the velocity vector, next thing I will know that therefore in 2 seconds, from t equal to 0 to t equal to 2 seconds, the displacement will be how much? It will be v into 2 seconds. So velocity into 2 seconds कितना हो जाएगा 30 I cap plus 40 j cap plus 120 k cap. So ये मेरा displacement होगा. So this displacement is basically what it is, the displacement from the point E, which is from the point E, which is 1, 0, 0 to the point B, which is to the point P, which is the unknown point. So उसके coordinates unknown. So x, y, z. Okay. I am discussing the exercise only, beta. Yes, but I am discussing the exercise. This is module exercise 1. Okay. So the point P will have coordinates what? 31, okay, comma 40, comma 1. P का जो x coordinate है वो कितना हो जाएगा 1 plus 30 हो जाएगा. Y coordinate कितना हो जाएगा 0 plus 40 और Z coordinate कितना होगा 0 plus 1. So that is why the coordinates of that point after 2 seconds will become this. This will be after 2 seconds. Okay. So I'm just minimizing this for 2 seconds. For those of you who have doubt in question number 13. Yes, I will be coming back to that exercise estimate in the end after finishing the doubts. Okay. So you continue with that exercise. Okay. If you have completed that exercise, let me know. I will send you something else also in the meantime. So Shikhar, the meaning of unit vector along AB. Unit vector along any given vector. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? So suppose we have some vector like this. This vector is E. So then we can also define something called E cap or N cap. So E cap is a vector of magnitude 1. So that's why we call it a unit vector. But it is along the vector E. So it is nothing but parallel to the vector E. Parallel to the vector E. So that is why this A cap is defined as the vector E divided by its own magnitude. Because then it will be a vector which is parallel to A, but उसका magnitude 1. ठीक है? So like that यहाँ पे जिस vector की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ वो AB है. So what is a unit vector parallel to AB? So it's a vector like this. It's a vector in the same direction as AB, but उसका magnitude 1. So n cap is a unit vector along the line AB. So the line AB is nothing but the vector from A to B, which you can see over here is 3 I cap plus 4 j cap plus 12. So that is why I have defined n cap as what? The vector AB divided by its own magnitude. Okay, and that's how we calculated it. Is it clear, Shikhar? Yeah, scrolling down. Good. Okay, so number of people had a doubt in question number 13. So I solved that. Okay. Okay, so next I'll be picking up question number 14 and 17 from the same exercise, exercise 1. And then we will move on to exercise 2. नहीं रनक AB में 5 I cap नहीं होगा ना, because see it is going from x equal to 1 to x equal to 4. So what is the change in x? It is x2 minus x1 na? So that is 3. Your delta x is equal to 3. So in your displacement vector there will be x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap, like that. So that's why this term is 3 I cap and not 5 I cap. Okay. All right. So next I'll be discussing the 14th and 15th question in exercise 1. Okay. So just wait till I solve these questions only, then start asking other questions because it's very confusing for me. So question 14 of exercise 1 next. Okay. So it is saying that forces are proportional to AB, BC and 2CA along the sides of a triangle ABC. So let's say force F1 is such that it is proportional to AB. It is proportional to AB. This sign is proportional, or it is proportionate to that symbol. F2 is proportional to is proportional to BC, and the third one, F3, is proportional to 2 times CA, where ABC is a triangle. Okay. So then we have to talk about F1 plus F2 plus F3. The resultant of the 3 forces is how much we have to talk about that. Okay. So ये कैसे करेंगे? Now let's visualize this problem. So suppose the triangle we are talking about is like this. There's some arbitrary AB, some arbitrary BC, and some arbitrary C. So then these are the vectors AB, because this point is, let's say, A, this point is B. Then this is the vector BC, and this is the vector C. Understand? Now, simultaneously, how will I understand the given set of vectors F1, F2, and F3? They will be like what? F1 will be the same as AB, so F1 will be like this. Okay. F2 will be the same as BC, so F2 will be like this. But F3 कितना होगा? ये CA का double हो जाएगा. So F3 will become like this. Okay. So this is now this relation. F1 is proportional to AB. So you can represent it by a vector of the same size as AB and same direction. F2 then would be represented by the same kind of vector as BC. But F3 will become 2 times C. So it will become double. So if these were of lengths x, y, z, यहाँ पे ये क्या हो जाएगा? X हो जाएगा, ये होगा Z. But along with this, there is also another Z. This double in there. So now what will be the resultant of F1, F2, and F3? It will be this. This will be the resultant. So that is, so that will become how much? That will be equal to C. Okay. So the resultant is proportional to C. Okay. Because you can see now, this is this point we started from. So we added the vectors head to tail. So where is the last vector's head? It's over here. So what is the sum? It's from the origin of the first vector to the head of the last vector. You understood, Rahul? अरे हम कोई भी 3 vectors को अगर add कर रहे हैं, suppose we are adding 3 vectors which are like this. These are 3 vectors, A, B, and C. So what will be the resultant of A plus B plus C? It will be, put this vector now, okay, on top of this, okay, and put this vector now on top of this. Okay. So now we have completed the operation of A plus B plus C. So what is that operation equal to? It is equal to the vector joining the origin of the first vector with the head of the last one. So this will become the resultant over here. So this is the resultant of A plus B plus C. So like that, in that question, what was happening? A was like this, B was like this, okay. Or F1 was like this, F2 was like this, but F3 was like this. So this last one, this became the resultant. यहाँ से यहाँ, this became the resultant of F1 plus F2 plus F3. It became like this. Okay, so that is the 14th question. Now let us come to 15th question. Okay. So magnitude of the resultant of 2 forces of magnitude 3p and 2p. So let us say I have one force which is given by E, that is of magnitude 3p, and another force B. Okay. Yeah, Weber, then it would be 0, no? Agar the 3 vectors which are joining are forming the sides of a closed triangle like this, if the third vector is ending over here only, then what is happening? A plus B plus C is 0, because here you can see that C is negative of A plus B. You can see that in the diagram that the vector C is negative of the vector A plus B. Okay. But हमारे केस में क्या हो रहा था? वैसा नहीं हो रहा था ना. The third third vector was not ending here. The third vector was going past that. It was ending somewhere here. So that is why the resultant was not 0. You understood, Weber? Okay. Now coming back to 15th question, the magnitude. Yeah, Anushka, I'll come to exercise 2. Let me finish with this. So the magnitude of the resultant of two forces of mod 3p and 2p is R. So magnitude of A plus B becomes R. And now it says that if we take the first force is doubled, then the magnitude of the resultant also becomes doubled. So 2 times A, तो अगर मैं ऐड करता हूँ B के साथ, तो उसका वैल्यू कितना हो जाता है? 2R हो जाता है. So from this I have to find, okay, the angle between the two forces. So we want to find theta, that is the angle between A and B. This is what this question is. Okay, so let's understand how we'll do this. So we'll apply triangle law over here. Okay, so magnitude of A is 3R or 3P, B is 2P, and angle between them is suppose theta. Okay, then R being A plus B. Okay. If R is A plus B, then the magnitude of R is mod of A plus B, which is root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Okay. So magnitude of R is becoming how much? It is becoming 9P square. I just substitute this plus 4P square. Okay, just substitute this plus how much? 6 to the 12. So 12P square cos theta, or square both the sides. So you get R square is equal to P square into 13 plus 12 cos theta. So this is equation 1, okay, which is coming from this statement. Okay, now next it's also saying that also 2A plus B apparently has a magnitude which is equal to 2 times R. Okay. So now notice something interesting. 2A is at theta with respect to B. Because अगर दो वेक्टर्स के बीच एंगल थीटा है तो एक को हमने डबल कर दिया. So if this is vector A and this is vector B, suppose let's say if this is vector A and this is vector B, and the angle between them is theta like this. Okay. Now you take double of the vector A, so that will become a vector like this. Okay, double of this, but it's in the same direction as A. No? So now when you draw B in comparison to it, it will have the same angle theta with respect to it. So it makes no difference to the angle, it just makes a difference to the magnitude. Okay, so in the second diagram, you see this angle theta will be the same. Okay, so this relation, when we write it in terms of mod, what it will become? See, it will become that square root of 2A ka whole square plus B square plus 2 times 2A into B into cos of same angle as the first equation I written. This should be equal to how much? 2R. So compare this equation with the earlier one we had written. So the magnitude of A has become doubled, but the direction has not changed. So the angle theta has remained the same. Okay. So this will become how much? This will become 2 into 3P whole square plus 2P whole square plus 2 into 3P into 2P into that same cos theta as the first equation. This is equal to 2R. So square both sides. So that will now give us how much? 6. So 36 plus 4. Okay. Plus ये कितना हो जाएगा? 6 to the 12 to the 24. Okay. Cos theta. Whole thing into P square is equal to 4R square. So now we'll get the relation that 40 plus 24 cos theta p square is equal to 4r square. So this is now my second equation. Now solve equation 1 and 2. You will get the value of theta. Solving 1 and 2, you will get that 40 plus 24 cos theta, this term, will become 4 times that term, which was 13 plus 12 cos theta. So from that, you will get 40 minus 52 is 48 minus 24 cos theta. So you get cos theta as minus half, which means that theta is equal to 120 degrees. So that should be our answer. Okay, so this was also one of the important questions of exercise 1. So I'm just leaving this for a moment for you to note down and work out. Okay. So yeah, Nitish. Okay, next I'm going to explain question 11 and question 21. These are two questions that multiple people have asked. And then we will be moving on to exercise 2 for today. Okay, so question 11 and then I'll come back to question 21. So Dhrumi and others, question number 11. It says particle is moving east with a velocity of 5 meters per second. So initial velocity particle का मैं u लिख सकता हूँ. So the initial velocity u is like this. Let's say it is towards the east. So we can write it as 10 meters per second. Sorry, 5 meters per second towards east. So we can write it as 5 I cap in meters per second, taking the direction towards east as our x-axis. Okay. And then what is happening in 10 seconds, the velocity changes to 5 meters per second northwards. So my final velocity is 5 meters per second northwards. So I can write my final velocity vector v as j cap in meters per second because it's pointing towards north. Okay. So we have to write the average acceleration. So that is equal to what? Change in velocity upon change in time. So that is final minus initial divided by the time. So final is 5j cap, initial is 5 I cap, and the time is 10 seconds. So this is in meters per second. So in the diagram, you can see that what is this difference going to be? This difference is going to be this. Yes, this is your delta V. This is your final minus initial. So because this side is equal to this side and this angle is 90, you can see its magnitude will be 5 and this angle will be 45. And that you can see from here also. So this average acceleration, which is minus 1 by 2 I cap plus 1 by 2 j cap in meters per second square, it is of magnitude 1 by root 2 in meters per second square, and direction, you can see it is northwest. Okay, so hope this is clear, people. Okay, Linkit, I'll send the module again later. Okay. Okay, let's come to question 21 before we move on to exercise 2 and 4. So who all have a doubt in question 21? Can you just send me a message? Who all have a doubt in question 21? Okay. Acha, Shikhar. Right, I'll come to 21. Now just okay. So Shikhar, what is happening here is देखो हम दो vectors का difference निकाल रहे हैं ना. Suppose ये vector A है और ये vector B है और ये 90 degree है. Which is the vector which is B minus A according to triangle law? This is the vector, na? So it's the hypotenuse of this triangle. This is the vector B minus A. So it's the hypotenuse of this triangle. That's why we are applying Pythagoras theorem. These two are equal to 5 each. So the hypotenuse is how much? 5 root 2. But same thing I have done by component algebra also. If you're writing your initial velocity as 5 I cap and your final velocity as 5 j cap, in component algebra, what is the difference in velocity? It's 5 j cap minus 5 I cap. So this is the same thing, no? It's a vector of magnitude 5 root 2 along which direction? The northwest direction. Okay, you understood, Shikhar? So whether you do by component method or you do in the triangle, it's the same thing. Oh, good. Right, now let's come to 21st question. Now this is a crucial type of question. We have to find the projection of vector B along E. So this is something that many of you have been asking to discuss again. So let me explain the whole concept only. So अगर मेरा vector A ऐसा है और vector B ऐसा है. So this is the vector E and this is the vector B. In this case, the vectors A and B are given to me as how much? A is I plus 2j plus 2k. And B is given as 2I plus j plus 2. Suppose it is given like this. Okay. Then, what is the component of vector B along vector A? And let's understand what the meaning of that is. So, the component of B along A मतलब क्या है कि मुझे B के head से A पे ऐसा perpendicular draw करना पड़ेगा. Okay. And this now becomes the projection of B along A. So this it's like, you know, if this was my x-axis, suppose A का जो direction है वो मेरा x-axis होता, then what would this be? This would be the x component of B. So like that, now this is not the x-axis, this is just some arbitrary vector A. So the component of B parallel to A is this one. So this is the projection, or you can say component of vector B along the vector. Or sometimes we say it is the component of B on A, or sometimes we say it is the component of B parallel to A. So that's why I have written the symbol parallel. So now logically you can understand, ये arrow का magnitude कितना है? B है, और ये angle suppose theta है. So what is the magnitude of B parallel? B parallel's magnitude should be how much? It should be B cos theta. Okay, that you can see in the above diagram. The magnitude of that vector is B cos theta. And what about the direction? And direction of B parallel is along A cap, that is the unit vector along the vector. So therefore, as a vector मैं इसको कैसे निकालूंगा? I'll find its magnitude as B cos theta and then multiply it with the unit vector. Okay. So now given these two things, how will I find B cos theta? So B cos theta is given by the simple formula, yes, using the dot product. Okay, I'm sending to you. So this is becoming how much? So now go back to the earlier thing and understand A dot B कितना है यहाँ पे? A dot B is 2 plus 2 plus 4, so that is 8. And magnitude of A कितना है? Square root of 1 plus 4 plus 4, so that is 3. So yes, correct. So this is becoming 8 by 3. So this is becoming 8 by 3. And A cap कितना है? It is vector A divided by its own magnitude. So A cap, because B cos theta निकालना है ना बेटा, क्यों डिवाइड किया A से? because B cos theta निकालना है. A dot B का डेफिनेशन क्या है? AB cos theta. So A से डिवाइड करूंगा तभी तो मुझे B cos theta मिलेगा ना. Alright, understood beta? Okay. Now this will become what? It will become I cap plus 2j cap plus 2k cap divided by its own magnitude, which was nothing but 3. So this is this. So now the parallel component will become B cos theta into A cap. So B cos theta को हमने निकाला, it's 8 by 3, and A cap is how much? It is I cap plus 2j cap plus 2k cap, the whole divided by 3. So we can take that by 3 outside, and finally our parallel thing will be 8 by 9 I cap plus 2j cap plus 2. So this becomes our final answer. This is the projection of vector B on E, or we can say along. Okay. So yeah. So Shikhar, again, what we mean by A cap is this. If this is the vector E, then A cap is simply a unit vector along the same direction. A cap is like this. It's a unit vector along the same direction. So A cap is nothing but vector E divided by its own magnitude. Okay. So that is I cap plus 2j cap plus 2k cap divided by its own magnitude. And it's not related to B. It's along A. Shikhar, A cap is not related to B. A cap का क्या मतलब है यहाँ पे? That it is a unit vector along the direction of A. Yes, Nitish, condition for parallel vectors also we use the same. If two vectors are parallel, then the unit vector should be same. Okay, understood, Shikhar? Okay, so just make a note of this, guys. Okay. Just make a note of this, and I will send the answer key of the exercise that I've given earlier. Just give me a minute.
chat.
Okay, so students, hope you have understood this last question properly. Okay, I'm just scrolling down so that you can come to the last part also. So yes, Shikhar, that is correct. Okay, that is why we are taking a cap actually, because we want to find the component of the vector be along the direction of A. So to give it the proper direction, because it's parallel to A, so we have to use a cap. Whereas the magnitude of that component is how much? It is b cos theta. So for that we have used the dot product method. Okay. I have explained this in a lot of detail actually in number of lectures, and we have these questions before also in the doubts session. So you can go through that also once more. Okay. Yeah, and I will at the end of this I will try to come to your questions also. Yes, Vaishnavi, I will be discussing the questions given in the group, but first I will complete the doubts. Yeah, Ayush, I'll send 29 and 30's answer, please. Okay. Okay, good. Now let's come to exercise 2. So if any of you have doubts in exercise 2, can you please let me know? Determinant method we use for finding cross product better. Determinant method is not used for for multiplying vectors. It is used for finding cross product of two vectors. There are a number of questions where we use determinant method. I've given you questions like that also. I've given you in my assignments. There is in the exercise also. Okay. All right. So question 1 of exercise 2. Yeah, Shikhar, those of you not solved exercise 2. Yeah, Varun, I'll explain. For the perpendicular component, what we have to do if you have found out the parallel component of two vectors like this, if this is a vector b and this was a vector e, अब मैंने यहाँ पे perpendicular drop करके ये parallel component निकाल लिया है. Okay, so I have found this out. So now how to find the perpendicular component? This one, we will just use the very simple relation that b parallel plus b perpendicular, इनका vector sum क्या है? It is the original vector b. Okay, so therefore b perpendicular will become what? The vector b minus the parallel component, which we just found out. Okay, so vector b was how much over there? It was this whole thing, 2i plus j plus 2k. Okay. So 2i plus j plus 2k. अब इससे हम क्या सब्ट्रैक्ट कर देंगे? ये वाला vector, the parallel component. So we'll subtract this one. 8 by 9 I plus 2j plus 2k. So whatever vector we get over here, that will become which vector? It will become the perpendicular component. So this is how we find the perpendicular component. So it is always indirect. We have to first find the parallel component. Okay. When we use the Pythagoras theorem, when we are wanting to find the magnitude, okay. So to find magnitude of parallel and perpendicular component, we can also see that this thing square plus this thing square is equal to this square. But that will only give us the magnitude. It will not give us the vector in component form. Okay. Okay, so let's come to exercise 2 and question number 1. Now this is also more or less about the projection concept only. So there, just give me a second. Okay, so the vector E is given to us as 3i cap plus 4j cap, and the vector B is given to us as I cap plus j cap, and we have to find the component of E along B. Okay. So that is basically A parallel, and the component of A perpendicular to B. So that is E perpendicular. So these two things we have to find out. So the same method we will apply now. So pay attention here. So E parallel will become how much? It will become E cos theta into B cap this time. Because we are finding the component of E along B and not B along E. ये वाला component निकालना है. This is the parallel component. This is what we are trying to find. Okay. So E cos theta will be E dot B divided by mod B, which here you can see will become 7 by root 2 when you calculate from above. Whereas B cap will be B vector divided by its magnitude. So that will be I cap plus j cap by root. So therefore the parallel component is 7 by root 2 into I cap plus j cap by root. But if you notice in the answer, it is given in this form. It is E cos theta into I cap plus j cap divided by root 2. So what they have done is in the answer, in the options, they have not found the numerical value. So you have to also be alert. If you find the numerical value, it becomes 7 by 2 I cap plus j cap. But you will see that options are not giving in the numerical form. The options are giving in this form rather, that the magnitude is a cos theta, but the unit vector's value is given. So that unit vector is nothing but b cap, which is vector b divided by its own magnitude. So it is this. So that is one of the options which you will mark as correct. Okay. So just go through this and make sure you understand this. Then we'll come to the perpendicular one. So this is the option that is given. It is one of the options given. So yes, Yojit, I have got your messages. Exercise 2, 3, and 4 I will be solving. Yes, I'll be at 29 and 30. I'll give you the answer. Just give me a second. Yes, that is what we do better. By now, hopefully, that should be clear. I've just sent you the answers of question number 29 and 30 also. So those who are solving that assignment, just do that. Okay. And I've sent another set of questions. So if you are done with these doubts which I'm discussing, you can also do that second set of questions. Okay. Now let's come to the perpendicular component. So now the perpendicular component, you will see A perpendicular कितना हो जाएगा, A vector minus A parallel हो जाएगा. So A vector कितना था, 3 I cap plus 4 J cap था, और A parallel we have just found above. So this is 7/2 I cap plus 7/2 J cap. So this is 3 minus 7/2 I cap plus 4 minus 7/2 J cap. So that is minus half I cap plus half J cap. Okay, this is A perpendicular. But again, you will see the problem is the answer is not given as one of these. Okay. So now you can see that the magnitude of A perpendicular is supposed to be how much? It is supposed to be A sine theta. Okay. And the unit vector, so this quantity is equal to that magnitude into some unit vector. Let's say M cap. Okay. So this is some unit vector. So this unit vector is basically what now? It is nothing but this vector divided by its own magnitude. Okay, so this is the magnitude of A perpendicular into its unit vector. So any vector can be written as its magnitude multiplied by unit vector. So ये unit vector अब क्या हो जाएगा? Minus half I cap plus half J cap का unit vector हो जाएगा. So when you work this out, you will see that this unit vector will become minus 1/√2 I cap plus 1/√2 J cap. Or you can write this as minus I cap plus J cap divided by √2. Okay. Where this quantity that we have calculated here, M cap, this is nothing but the unit vector of the perpendicular component of E, okay, or nothing but of A perpendicular. So now what is the A perpendicular vector going to be expressed as? is going to be A sine theta into that unit vector. Okay. So that unit vector here is minus I cap plus j cap by root. इससे आपको second वाला option मिल जाएगा, that the perpendicular unit vector is given by which one? Is given by this. Okay. From this you will get the second part's answer. Yes, Hitanshu, welcome back. If you are not understanding what's going on, we are discussing doubts from exercise 2 of the vectors worksheet of the vectors module. So after finding the parallel component, which was this is how we find the perpendicular component. Okay, so Sarvesh, hope this is clear now, na beta? And 7 by root 2 तो वहां से आया था. 7 by root 2 had come from this thing. A dot B divided by mod B. So यहाँ पे A dot B calculate करो आप. So you can see that between these two, A dot B is how much? It is 3 into 1 plus 4 into 1, so that is 7. And mod B is how much? It is square root of 1 square plus 1 square. So it is root 2. Okay. Yeah, Sarvesh, so I will come to your doubt. Just give me some time. Okay. Just let me complete this run through of exercise 2, then I will come to your doubts. Okay, now question 4 was a common doubt in exercise 2. Okay. In fact, question 3 and 4. So let me quickly discuss question 3. 3 is actually very similar to this, but it's easier. So question 3 में क्या दिया हुआ है? मुझे एक वेक्टर A दिया हुआ है, and that is 2i cap plus j cap plus k cap, and एक वेक्टर B दिया हुआ है, which is I plus j plus k. Now see, none of the options are anything to do with both A and B. Usba, how to find the angle between two vectors? Use dot product method. Cos theta is equal to A dot B divided by magnitude of A into magnitude of B. This is the best way to find the angle between two vectors. This is written in your notes as one of the applications of dot product. Okay, Rusba, is this clear? No, other the exercise that I've sent in the group that is for you to try out, I will discuss it in the next lecture. In the next session, I will discuss that out. So you keep working on those questions. If any of the question is not clear or you're stuck in some step, just send me a message. I will help you out with that one. Okay, send me an individual message on WhatsApp. Same thing बेटा, रुजबा पहले दोनों वेक्टर्स का रिजल्टेंट निकाल लो. Okay, so पहले दोनों वेक्टर्स का रिजल्टेंट सपोज R है, and I have to find the angle between R and E. तो फिर वो एंगल कितना हो जाएगा? Cos theta will become R dot E divided by magnitude of R into magnitude of E. Okay. Is it clear, Rusba? Okay. Now let us come to Now let us come to this question. So option A is saying that a unit vector perpendicular to E is given by this minus j cap plus k cap by root. Okay. So first of all, is it a unit vector? So check magnitude इसका कितना होना चाहिए? इसका magnitude 1 होना चाहिए, and that is correct. If you just check the magnitude of this vector, you see it is square root of 1 by root 2 whole square plus 1 by root 2 whole square. So that is 1. So its magnitude is 1. And secondly, it should be perpendicular to E. So that means n cap dot E should be equal to 0. So अब इस vector का A के साथ आप unit dot product, so you'll see you get 0. So minus j cap plus k cap by root 2, a dot product with E, which was 2i plus j plus k, is how much? It is minus 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root 2. So that is 0. That means this is perpendicular to E. So that makes the option A correct. Understanding? So to check if two vectors are perpendicular to each other, we have to check their dot product. If it is 0, then that means the angle between them is 90 degrees. Yes, this is question 2 of exercise 2. Okay, so option A. NEET students don't have to solve exercise 2 because it is multiple choice question. So NEET students need not worry about exercise 2. Now similarly, if you look at option B, Athar, I have sent the answers in the group. 29 and 30 I have sent the answers in the group. Just check the WhatsApp group of your house again. I have sent it as a separate message. Okay, you will find the answer key. It's not in the original answer key. I have sent a separate message with 29th and 30th. Just now I sent a few minutes back. Okay. Okay. Now the second thing is it's saying a unit vector parallel to E is this one, 2i cap plus j cap plus k cap divided by root 6. Now this is very simple. What is a unit vector parallel to A? It is nothing but A cap. So A cap क्या होगा? Vector A divided by magnitude of vector A. So that is actually 2i cap plus j plus k, because that was the vector A divided by its own magnitude. Okay. So the magnitude of this vector you can see is square root of 2 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. So that's this one. So that's correct. So that is why this option is also correct. Okay. So similarly, you check C and D also. Okay. No, they are single option questions. Tanish, question 37, 38 and 39 are single option questions. None of the questions are multiple option questions. I'll send the answers of the remaining questions also after some time. Okay, so similarly, you check option C and D, you will get the answer. So that's question number 2. Now I'm coming to question 4 next. Anand, I didn't understand your question. In dot product, we need to multiply the number or number with sign, you mean? No? You mean with sign. So when we do A dot B, we need to multiply AX and BX plus AY BY plus AZ BZ. So this is with the sign. Okay, so for example, if the vector A is I cap minus 2 J cap and the vector B is, let us say, 3 I cap plus 3 J cap. So यहाँ पे A dot B क्या हो जाएगा? It will be AX which is 1 into BX which is 3 plus AY which is minus 2 into BY which is plus 3. So this will become 3 minus 6 or minus 3. Understood? And this is what you were asking? Yeah, Harpreet, I'll send the answer to the second worksheet also. But just solve it first, okay? Take your time to solve it first. Okay, so let's come to question 4 of exercise 2. Now, this is a good question because it's logically asking you to analyze something. So there are two vectors which lie on a plane and C lies in a different plane. Okay. So A and B lie in a plane and C lies in a different plane. Yeah, Rusba, I'll come to your question. Different plane. Then we are talking about A plus B plus C. इसके बारे में बात करें. Okay. Now the thing is, you have to understand that if A plus B plus C is equal to 0, okay, what does that mean? That means that the vectors E, B and C are 3 consecutive sides. So they are the 3 consecutive sides of a closed triangle. Equilibrium, you can say there are 3 forces, then we're talking about equilibrium. But more importantly, as vectors, they are 3 sides consecutive, one after the other, of a triangle. Okay. So they must be looking like this. They must be head to tail joining each other like this. This must be the case. The angles can be anything, but they must be forming a closed triangle. Okay. So this is a condition for the resultant of the 3 vectors to be 0. So condition A. Now triangle is what kind of figure? It is a planar figure. So therefore, A, B and C must be, okay, in the same plane, or what we call coplanar. must be coplanar, that is in the same plane, because a triangle is a coplanar figure. Okay, coplanar means lying in the same plane, in the same two-dimensional plane. So three vectors are coplanar when they lie in the same plane. Okay. All three should lie in a common plane. Okay. So accordingly, you can see that if they are non-coplanar, then their resultant cannot be zero. Okay. And also, the resultant of A, B, and C will not lie in the plane of A and B. Okay. So another way to understand this question, okay, so you can just understand this geometrically how I explained here. Now another way to understand this question is by thinking of components, that is Cartesian system. Now we can also understand this question from the Cartesian point of view. So we can also think of this question like this कि ये जो कह रहा है कि ये तीन ऐसे हैं that A and B lie in a plane. So let us say, suppose that is xy plane. Okay. So therefore, in general, we can say that the vector E is having some x component and some y component, but does not have a z component. Okay. And the vector B is also having an x and y component, but does not have a z component. Because मैंने क्या अपने xy plane को क्या ले लिया है? The plane in which the vectors A and B are lying. So they are lying in a plane. उसको मैंने assume कर लिया वो मेरा कौन सा plane है, xy plane है. Therefore, I can say that A and B are both having only x and y component. They should not have z component. Okay. Now, if C is in a different plane, to A and B, okay, that means यहाँ पे the vector C must have a z component. It cannot lie in the xy plane. Yeah, Hitanju, that's okay. We are just doing discussion of some of the common questions. So you can. Okay. So that means the vectors A and B are lying in the xy plane. So C must be in a different plane. So that means C must have a z component. Okay. So therefore, the vector C may or may not have x component, may or may not have y component, but must have z component. Okay. Cz should not be equal to 0. That is the condition. Cx and cy may be 0, may not be 0. It doesn't matter. But C को क्या है, A और B के plane में नहीं होना चाहिए, और A और B का plane क्या है, it is the xy plane. Okay, so that is why we can say that C must have a z component. So now what we can say about the resultant of A, B and C. So therefore, A plus B plus C will become what? It will become AX plus BX plus CX I cap, okay, plus AY plus BY plus CY J cap. But what about the Z component? It will be only CZ. It will only be CZ. So this resultant, you can see, this resultant of A and B and C, it is having some X component, some Y component, and some Z component, where that resultant's X component is how much? AX plus BX plus CX. So it may or may not be 0. Y component is how much? Again, AY plus BY plus CY. So depend करता है, इन values पे depend करता है. हो सकता है 0 है, हो सकता है नहीं भी 0 है. But what about the Z component? Now you can see the Z component is just CZ. There is no AZ or BZ. And we have already seen that CZ cannot be 0. So therefore, RZ cannot be 0 because CZ we have already seen is not 0. So therefore, first of all, the resultant cannot be a null vector, and secondly, and the resultant is not coplanar to vectors A and B, because vectors A and B were defined in which plane? They were in the xy plane, and what we have just seen as about the resultant, that is Z component, is non-zero. Okay, so that is how we can conclude for sure that this resultant will be non-coplanar with A and B and will definitely be non-zero. Okay, have you understood this? Okay. Anybody else having a doubt in exercise 2? Anything left? What about the option D? Option 2 lies in a plane different from that of any of the 3 vectors. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. See, the thing is, क्या होता है ना? When we define any 2 vectors, they always lie in some plane. 2 vectors will always define some plane. So if I say that the vector R lies in a plane different from any of the vectors A, B or C, that statement is completely wrong, because the resultant and A are defining one plane. The resultant and B are defining some other plane, and the resultant and C are defining some other plane. Is it clear? Yeah, and I will clear the doubt that you sent on WhatsApp. It's from a different set, so I will send it to you later. Okay, so exercise 2, any other doubts, anybody? Okay, what about exercise 3? Anybody has doubts? Anybody having doubts in exercise 3? Okay. Now, those students from Orange House who have doubts in exercise 7 or in the worksheet 7 which I've sent, don't worry about that. That I'll be discussing in the next lecture, which we will have for Orange House. Okay, so the difference between cross product and dot product, what difference? They are completely different definitions. Yeah, Likit, I will send you the module after the session is over. I will send you the module again. Okay. So how to find the direction of a vector and the difference between cross product and dot product? Let's understand these things in detail. Okay. So, for example, if 2 vectors are just drawn to me, for me like this, okay, one vector is like this, and one vector is like this, with respect to the given xy plane. So ये मेरा given x axis है, और ये मेरा given y axis है. Now suppose this one is the vector E. It is given to me, it has a magnitude of 20 and this angle is 30 degrees. Okay. And suppose this one, this is now given to me as a vector B. It has a magnitude of 10 and let us say this angle is 30 degrees. Okay. So A and B are in the xy plane as shown. Are in the xy plane. Okay. Now let us do some operations in this, through which we will understand all these things: dot product, cross product, projections, everything. Okay. So find A dot B, okay, magnitude of A cross B, okay, magnitude of A plus B, and magnitude of A minus B. Okay. Then Secondly, find A cross B in component form. And third, find the projection of B along A in vector form. Okay. So through this question, let us understand all the various aspects of vector algebra related to geometry. Okay, that is, when two vectors are given in geometrical form, how to solve each of these things. Let us pay attention to this. Okay. And while you are solving this, Rusba and Anay, to answer your doubt, for any vector given, how to find the angle with respect to the xyz axis. So if a vector is given like this, ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap, okay, three-dimensional vector. Then we use direction cosines. Cos alpha is ax upon mod a, cos beta is ay upon mod b, mod a. And cos gamma is Ez upon mod A. These are called the direction cosines. You will find this in your notes. Okay. And here, alpha is the angle of vector A with respect to x-axis. Similarly, beta is the angle of vector A with respect to y-axis. Okay. And gamma is the angle of vector A with respect to z-axis. So when we have vector given in three-dimensional form, this is what we do to find the angles. Okay. Whereas if the vector is in 2D, it's much easier. For E equal to Ax I cap plus Ay j cap. Okay. 2D vector in xy plane. Okay. The theta is such that it is tan inverse of Ay by Ax, where theta is the angle of vector E with respect to positive x-axis. So these are the two cases in which we find the angle. And then the angle with the y-axis just becomes 90 minus theta. So अगर two-dimensional है, तो the angle just becomes 90 minus theta. Three-dimensional में you have to use the direction cosines. And angle between two vectors, you always use this formula. Cos theta is equal to A dot B divided by EB. Yes, Samarth, I have come back to the example question. Some students were having difficulty with these more basic things, so I just covered that out first. Now let's come back to this question. So try this out, people. Now you can apply various different methods for this. Yes, Meg, that's very good. That's correct. Meg, both answers are correct. Jeval, have you got this? Okay, good. So just tell me the answer of the third part. Jeval, answer of the third part. Projection of vector B along A. Okay. Ritika, which product? Dot product or cross product? Ritika, dot product. No, you have to check your answer, beta. That root 3 part is correct, but you made some other calculation mistake. Yes, Shubham, I am sending answer. Yeah, Varun, that is correct. Varun, your answer is correct. Good. Yeah, Ranak, your answer is correct. Jewel, I will just check. Just give me a second. नहीं. The I cap component is wrong, but oh no, it's correct. It's correct. Yeah, Jewel is correct. Your answer is correct. Good. Jewel, your answer is correct. Okay. So let me work out this question for everybody now. Okay. So see, the first part is pretty simple. If I talk about the first part of the question, it's very simple because क्या है? I know the magnitude of A and B, and I know these angles. So unse I also know that the angle between A and B, this theta, that theta is how much? It is 30 degrees. ये clear है सबको that theta is 30 degrees. So the first part's answer, E dot B, I don't need to do any component form anything here. I'll just use the definition. It is AB cos theta. So magnitude of A is 20, magnitude of B is 10, and cos 30. So that's root 3 by 2. So this becomes 100 root 3. So that is your A dot B. Okay. Similarly, magnitude of A cross B, I don't need to use any component algebra. It is AB sin theta. Yeah, I'm sending it. Okay. So it is 20 into 10 into sin 30, which is half. So that's 100. Okay. So this is this. Similarly, magnitude of A plus B क्या हो जाएगा अभी? So let me work that out below. Mod of A plus B, root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Because A was 20, B was 10, and theta was 30 degrees. So this will become square root of 500 plus 200 root 3. So you can also write this as 10 square root of 5 plus 2. So this is mod A plus B. Okay. And accordingly, mod A minus B will become 10 into 5 minus 2 because mod A minus B में क्या हो जाएगा? It's root of A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. तो यहाँ पे minus की जगह plus की जगह minus आ जाएगा. So these are these two values. Okay, so this is clear to all of you. Now let us come to A cross B as in component form as a projection. So A was like this and B was like this. And this was our XY plane. So just apply the right hand thumb rule. So if this vector was A and this vector was B, this was 20, this was 10, and this angle was 30 degrees. But A cross B, so this is AB sin theta n cap. Now n cap का direction कैसा आएगा? N cap, apply the right hand palm rule. Okay. So point your right hand thumb here and your right hand fingers like this. So you'll see that your palm is facing up, outwards. Okay. Okay. So it's out of the plane, coming out of the plane. So coming out of the plane, कौन सा direction है? Positive z axis. Okay, so plus k cap. Okay. Yes, very good. So the cross product A cross B will become AB sin theta into n cap. So AB sin theta was 100 and n cap is k cap. So this is the cross product in component form. Okay, people, so this is clear. All right, now the final part of this question, we wanted to find out B parallel as a vector quantity. Okay, so this is where now I'll have to introduce unit vectors. Without unit vectors, I will not be able to solve because I have to give it the proper direction. तो वेक्टर ए ऐसा है और वेक्टर बी ऐसा है, where ये एंगल 30 है, बट मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली इनके बीच जो एंगल है वो भी 30 है, and magnitude of the vector b was 10 and magnitude of the vector a was 20, so that doesn't matter. Okay, so now which is the vector I'm talking about? Parallel component कौन सा है इस फिगर में? यहाँ से मुझे परपेंडिकुलर ड्रॉप करना पड़ेगा. ये परपेंडिकुलर ड्रॉप करने के बाद ये वाला जो प्रोजेक्शन आ जाएगा, this one, this is my b parallel. So b parallel here will have a magnitude of b cos theta, but it will be along the unit vector of it. So b cos theta कितना है यहाँ पे? It's very simple. It is 10 into cos 30. So it is 5 root 3. Okay, so that's done. But what about a cap? So a cap I'll have to figure out. So a cap is a unit vector of the vector e, and this vector is at 30 degrees to x-axis. So basically, what is a cap? It is a unit vector in this direction. Like this. This is your a cap, or a cap is like this. It is a vector of magnitude 1, but at an angle of 30 degrees to the x-axis in the xy plane. So I don't need to do so much over here. I can just say a cap, therefore, is cos 30 I cap plus sin 30 j cap. So it is root 3 by 2 I cap plus 1 by 2 j cap, or it is root 3 I cap plus j cap, the whole thing divided by 2. This is a cap. So this is the thing I want you people to understand thoroughly over here. कि मैंने यहाँ पे a cap कैसे निकाला? सिर्फ एंगल से निकाला, because 2-dimensional problem था xy plane में. So मुझे वेक्टर a को निकाल के उसको मैग्नीट्यूड से डिवाइड करने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ी. I could just do it by using is making an angle 30 degrees with the x-axis in the xy plane. So it is how much? It's cos 30 I cap plus sin 30 j cap. Is this clear? Okay. So now I have b cos theta and I have a cap below. So I'll just multiply these two and I will get my this thing. So as you can see, it will become 15 by 2 I cap. Okay. So a cap क्या है? A cap is a unit vector along the vector E. So that is what? At 30 degrees to the x-axis in the xy plane. In the xy plane. So that is this vector here now. This vector is like what? ये x-axis है, ये y-axis है. This is your a cap. Its magnitude is 1, but this angle is 30 degrees. So what is its x component? Cos 30. And what is its y component? Sin 30. Yeah, if it were in 3D, then we would use the method that we've been using till now. कि vector a को हम divide कर देते हैं with its magnitude. ठीक है. So now, नहीं, beta magnitude has to be multiplied for vector a. See, don't confuse between vector a and a cap. They are different things. अगर मैं vector a निकालूंगा तब वो क्या है? That is 20 cos 30 I cap and 20 sin 30 j cap. But that's vector a, not a cap. That's different. That's this vector. This vector which has a magnitude of 20 and this angle is 30 degrees. So ax कितना है? A cos theta or a cos 30, which is 10 root 3. Okay. And ay कितना है? 10. So that will become 10. Okay. So vector a component form में क्या है? It is 10 root 3 I cap plus 10 j cap. But that's the same thing ना बेटा. अगर अभी वेक्टर a से मैं a cap निकालूंगा तो वो कितना होगा? Vector a divided by its magnitude. So it is 10 root 3 I cap plus 10 j cap divided by magnitude of this only, 10 root 3 I cap plus 10 j cap. Or magnitude already know that's 20. So 10 root 3 I cap plus 10 j cap divided by 20. So it's the same, na? It's root 3 by 2 I cap plus 1 by 2 j cap. But this is like, unnecessarily we are doing it by very indirect method. कि पहले वेक्टर ए को निकाला फिर उसके मॉड से डिवाइड किया. इसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है मुझे यहाँ पे, because मुझे पता है कि ये xy प्लेन में है. So ये डायग्राम में a कैप कहाँ पर है? A cap is here only. It's just a vector whose magnitude is just 1. Its direction is the same. So directly I can see that a cap will be cos 30 I cap plus sin 30 j cap, because the vector a was nothing but a cos 30 I cap plus a sin 30 j cap. So when I divide this by its mod, obviously I'll get this. Yeah, so I'm coming to that. B perpendicular पूछा होता तो क्या करते? So now coming back to what is B parallel, it is B cos theta into A cap. Now B cos theta we saw was 5 root 3, and A cap we just saw is root 3 I cap plus J cap, whole thing by 2. So ये कितना हो जा रहा है? It's becoming 15 by 2 I cap plus 5 root 3 by 2. So this is becoming my B parallel. Now as far as the perpendicular component is concerned, if I just want its magnitude, then it's nothing but B sin theta. If I want perpendicular component, magnitude of the perpendicular component ही चाहिए अगर, तो B sin theta है. So that will just become magnitude of B was 10 and angle was 30. So it will be 5. But if I want it as a vector, I'll have to do this. Vector B minus B parallel. Okay. So इस vector को मुझे B से subtract करना पड़ेगा. नहीं, it's not B sin theta into A cap, Ayush, because direction of B perpendicular is not along A, ना. So how we can use A cap? उसका यूनिट वेक्टर तो A से परपेंडिकुलर होगा ना बेटा. B परपेंडिकुलर हम निकालेंगे यहाँ पे तो वो तो ऐसे आएगा ना. So its direction is like this. This would be B perpendicular. So this would be perpendicular to this. So its direction is not A cap. Its direction would be this. So how we calculate it is by subtracting this vector minus this vector. Have you understood, Ayush? Okay, people, so hope this is clear to all of you. Okay, now students of Orange House who are present here, please listen closely, because we have a lecture on Friday, I think at 8 in the morning, which is a revision lecture for students of ICSC who have missed classes in the last couple of weeks. But other students of Orange House who have attended those lectures because they are not of ICSC, you can also join that lecture. There's no problem, and that will be a revision of dot product for you. Because I will be discussing dot product in that lecture, which those students of ICSC have missed. Whereas the evening lecture on Friday will again be this kind of doubt session, and in that I will start with the discussion of the 2 worksheets which I have given today, okay, which are in your groups. I will start with the discussion of that. So between now and Friday, you also try to cover up the maximum questions from the assignments that I have given you earlier and the exercise 3 and 4 of your module. And if any doubts come up in between, please send me over WhatsApp. I will help you with the solutions. Yeah, you did worksheet 7, worksheet 5, 6, and 7. These are going to be very important for this test. So the evening lecture is a general doubt session again. Okay. Yes, Anna, I will send you the doubts. I will send you the solution of the doubts you have sent on WhatsApp. Okay. So that's it for today's session, people. I will send you the answer key of the second part of the assignment also, which I sent today. Please try out those questions because I'll be discussing those on Friday evening. Yeah, Ritika, if you're online, that the perpendicular component हम कैसे निकालते हैं? By using the fact that the sum of the parallel and perpendicular component is the original vector b. So b is the vector sum of b parallel plus b perpendicular. So b parallel हमने dot product method से निकाल दिया. So now if we subtract b parallel from b vector itself, we will be left with what? The perpendicular component. So please also refer to the question 21, I think, of exercise 1 that we have done in the discussion today. Now, the last question of exercise 1, we have found out that perpendicular component of b by using that method. So please try that out also. Okay.